Welcome to Geeks Corner. I'm Mr. Daps.
I'm Caitie.
And it is going to be a fun night here on Geeks Corner. We are glad that you are joining us, and we've got a lot of fun things to do. But unfortunately, Jenny is not with us tonight because she is busy playing with axes. I am not kidding. Well, hatchets. She's doing a hatchet job on the show. Is that what's going on? No. Hey, there's our first joke. Count them. That might be the only one for the show. But you never really know.
We're only situationally funny people.
You never really know.
We
Even
don't
then,
joke punchline.
Yeah, it just things happen and it's weird. Anyway, Jenny legitimately is playing with hatchets or axes, or I couldn't actually tell. All I do know, sharp objects that she's throwing against a wood wall. So that is why she's not here tonight. She is safe though, for more or less, and we're going to continue on with the show anyway. We're glad that you're here. If you would like to participate, let us know in the comments on the YouTube page, or hit us at hashtag Geeks Corner. I don't know. On Twitter. Yeah, don't hit us. That wouldn't be so nice. But use the Twitter with the hashtag Geeks Corner, and we will be keeping our eyes on it. And Roger will be over there as well, responding hopefully and sharing what's going on. But we're gonna have a fun show tonight because we've had a fun weekend. It started with Knott's Berry Farm's Taste of Knott's, which was the expanded Taste of Calico, which is where we spent most of our Sunday afternoon on a very warm and humid Sunday in Orange County. And let's just overall, I would like you to participate as well, Clocky. Overall, Caitie, what did you think of Taste of Knott's?
I thought it was a fantastic event. I had the opposite experience that I did at Taste of Calico, where Taste of Calico, I was like, I have 5 tastings. What on earth am I going to possibly use them for? There was a couple things I had my eye on, but as I got towards tasting 3, 4, and 5, I was like, I guess this Taste of Knott's. It was 100% like, I have 10 things I want to taste. How do I figure this out? Let's do it.
They're already gone.
Yeah, it was like, how do we do a game plan of how we're going to eat through this?
Yes.
Ate a lot of really good food.
So. And that is so very true. And I think starting things off, we should talk just about the experience at large also. Face masks are obviously required. You go through screening when you walk in and you answer a few questions, and then they check your temperature, and then you go through security, and then you give your ticket, and then you're in the park. And it is a few things, and it's kind of funny when you start thinking about all of the different things you have to go through to get into the park. But overall, it feels like they're creating a very safe environment, as safe as it can be in this day and age. And the thing that really stuck out to me this time, and maybe I just didn't notice it at Taste of Calico, is literally every time somebody stood up from a table, an employee was like swooping right in and cleaning it. And like, even if somebody, like, I noticed I was filming Crazy Kirk and the Hillbillies, and a person sat next to like a table or two over from me. They didn't even put their hands on the table, but just for sitting for like 2 minutes and then getting up and leaving, an employee came over and cleaned off the table. And I was like, wow, they're like taking this really seriously. And it made me feel very confident. And then food was fantastic. Like, I think, Caitie, what was your favorite? I think I know what it is, but favorite dish of the day?
Portobello mushroom sandwich. I really, really, really love mushrooms. White mushrooms. I love portobello mushrooms. You put them on things or as a side or anything, like garlic mushrooms. Ooh, amazing. So when I saw there was a portobello mushroom sandwich, I was like, give that to me. And I was really glad that I saved it towards the end of the day, because it was just like the perfect way to end my day.
And I like the boysenberry pie bites as I think Roger and Jenny did too. I don't know if they were the number one for them, but they were definitely up there. Definitely get those. Those were really good. You can probably share just about anything there because the portion sizes are very generous, and which really, like, as you think about this, for $30 you get 5 dishes that I would have a hard time eating by myself in general. In fact, we didn't finish all the food, but it was ridiculously generous, good. The employees were really I thought, really friendly, really professional, and really proactive about keeping things safe and clean. And like we saw one employee, I think he might have been a manager or something, but like there was a group of, I want to say teenage girls maybe, and they were just kind of, oh, it was a family. Okay.
It was the teenage girl of the family.
Yeah, and she was just chatting with her mask, I think just over her mouth and not her nose, and he politely asked her to put it over her nose, and I think that was a really positive thing. I think the unexpected fun part that I kind of had an inkling was going to happen was Crazy Kirk and the Hillbillies are on the big LED wall, and they were basically had a set every hour, and I think they repeated each one, like each one went twice. If I had to make a guess, we didn't stay for the last one.
I saw 3 different sets.
Yeah, so that would have been 2, 2, 2.
Yeah, like, I'm saying that's to me that's very impressive that they're, because I thought that they were alternating set
between
A,
two.
Set A, set B.
Yeah.
But we went back later and I was like, this is a nighttime set. Like, hold on. No, that was 100% one of my favorite parts. The only thing better would have been seeing them live, but obviously it's not super safe right now because
that would have drawn way too many people.
100%. But even though that was also like the hottest place in the park, it was like in direct sunlight, but it was worth it for Crazy Kirk and the Hillbillies.
Yeah, that was perfect. Like, honestly, the best way if we could have done that is had boysenberry pie bites while watching
100%.
Crazy Kirk and the Hillbillies, and then it would have been perfect. Along with like the I couldn't remember what it was on Sunday either. The boysenberry shake, not the boysenberry shake, the cold drink with boysenberry.
Okay, we talked about this on Sunday.
I know it's on my card, but the card's not in here, so that doesn't do us any good.
Guess
okay,
what?
Well, you can look at this while I try to remember what it is.
Trained member of DAPs Magic. I have my Knott's Berry Farm tasting card. Cold drink with boysenberry.
Like a slushy or something.
Oh, you're talking about the boysenberry icy.
Yeah, that one.
That's what you're talking about.
That would be perfect in the sun watching Crazy Kirk in the Hillbillies.
Also, you guys would like a look into what our conversations look like in person. We had this exact same conversation on Sunday.
Because I wanted one and I didn't get one. And so it just wasn't in my brain of like what it was. It was just like, I want that thing that person is walking by with. They also had atmosphere characters, which was kind of fun, that were all different places that sometimes were surprising, and that was fun. Like at one point we were walking out of a building and a cowboy started talking to us and we didn't realize it was us, and finally he got our attention. But
heard him, but we just didn't think he was talking to us.
Yeah, well, I was ignoring him, but I don't know. That was good. Yeah, the boysenberry smoothie probably would have been great also. Thank you, Roger. So yeah, you never know what's going to happen, but it was a lot of fun. 2 thumbs up. It goes into September, so if you can get tickets while they're still available, they're $30. Parking is free. You go in and what is that, Crescent Street Avenue, whatever that side is, but going on Crescent, and that's where you enter. Probably easiest to come in from Beach, hang a right on Crescent, and then right into the parking lot, and then you're good to go. But we've done that the hard way each time. So anyway, that was our Sunday. It was a lot of fun. Definitely check out Taste of Knott. You won't regret it. Let's hop over to Disneyland now. This last week, the Quinjet arrived at Avengers Campus, and it looks legit.
Too legit to quit, one may say.
Oh, really? That's what one may say? Okay. What do you think about the Quinjet arriving over in DCA?
This was 100% unexpected, by the way. I haven't even thought about Avengers Campus because to me, it's just like the heartbreak of, oh, we were already supposed to be there. So in my head, I was like, Avengers Campus who? I don't know her. So when I saw pictures of the Quinjet, I was like, I'm sorry, who? What? When did that get here? And obviously it got here last week. But
they were done with it with Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., so then they could bring it over to...
It's also something that I wasn't expecting to see for a while. because I know this is going to be like a phase 2 opening event. Well, honestly, who knows
Well,
this?
Were you aware that it was sitting backstage for like the last 6 months?
I think I saw something on BioReconstruct.
Okay. Yeah. He had a picture of it whenever he came out. I think it was March or April or something like that.
Yeah. So I think it was there, but in my head, it wasn't ready to be put anywhere. I love the picture of Josh D'Amaro standing next to it.
Good guy.
Great guy.
He gets around.
I am super, super excited. And it's crazy to see it in scale next to a human being.
And it just looks so futuristic and sleek. And I just think they did a fantastic job recreating it. And I sure hope that that attraction still happens in the future. Because to me, that's the thing I'm most looking forward to coming into Disney California Adventure. Bailey says it's possible she will cry when she sees a Quinjet because of the post-series finale of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. And I need to get caught up, Bailey. Your enthusiasm has caught on with me, and I think I'm going to go through. I think I have a season and a half to catch up on. But if it's streaming somewhere, I will go watch it. I'm almost done with Columbo, so I'm going to have time to watch a new show. Or an old show that I haven't. Bailey says that she wouldn't be surprised if it was an actual Quinjet prop from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. I wouldn't be either, especially after hearing that they use the X-Wing that's over at Star Wars Galaxy's Edge in Florida for The Mandalorian, and that was super cool too. But
I did see someone on Twitter say that they are worried that the Quinjet is going to be California Adventure's Rhine River Cruise.
No.
And let me tell you, that
not going to happen.
That thought had not entered my brain, and I went, "Oh, for those uninitiated, Rhine River Cruise was the proposed Germany attraction at Epcot. Just never happened. But there is evidence everywhere you look, much like the Full House theme song."
I'm hoping it will happen still, and I'm going to keep that hope.
Crossed.
Well, and I think it really comes down to it'll depend on how quickly things recover, for one, and two, how future Marvel movies do. Like if Marvel continues on the track that it's going, then obviously you're gonna make another attraction for it.
Yeah.
And especially when they're starting to really have to bring in more people to the parks and rebuild all of this. Like it may not be, next year, but maybe 5 years or 7 years or something like that. Wouldn't surprise me at all. And honestly, that's not necessarily a bad thing, because think of how much technology advances every year from a computer standpoint. And for all of the stuff that happens in Marvel, kind of the longer you wait, the better the attraction will be. And so I have yet to be on an attraction that was quite as immersive. I will say Rise of the Resistance was actually. Rise of the Resistance is the first attraction that Disney's put out that has rivaled the Star Trek experience in Vegas, where you get to go on the shuttlecraft and fight Klingons and Borg and all that stuff. And I know I'm talking about both attractions, but
I knew you were going to bring up Star Trek.
Time travel one was really the one that was the most immersive, and you think that was 20 years ago, something like that. And I would love to see Marvel do something like that, where it just completely blows you out of the water, just like Rise of the Resistance is doing. And that'll be fun to see what happens with that. They've also, on top of getting a Quinjet, they've also started casting for stunt performers and people to inhabit the land of Avengers Campus. And I think that's super exciting. Caitie, do you want to talk a little bit about what they're doing with that?
Yes. So they are specifically casting for one stunt show at assumedly Avengers Campus, because these are all Marvel people. They are casting 2 stunt performers, one for Black Panther, one for Captain America, and they are casting General Okoye, who will also be in the same show, but is not a stunt performer. I am so hyped. It's going to be so good. They want both Black Panther and Captain America to be trained in hand-to-hand combat and also have acrobatic skills that are congruent to the character. So things like shield and sword skills, which I am so hyped about. And I feel like Okoye will just be there and kind of like
MC it.
MC it, yes. Because it did say that the performers will be AGVA union, which does mean that they are in a scripted show, if that is correct. So
sounds right.
I am so, and this was also, again, something that I'm like, if this is up, it feels like we're closer. And this is just me getting my hopes up and hoping that we see this, not in like 5 years. But I feel like normally Disney casting notices go out roughly like 5 to 6 months before a thing. Because normally a Christmas Fantasy parade auditions are like June, July. I don't know. I might be being hopeful, but I really hope that this is like a piece of like good news.
To me, I could see this easily being a thing that they're casting now. You start going into maybe even trials for this, because it wouldn't surprise me if we saw some technology revolving around a certain Spider-Man bot we saw earlier this year. And I could be completely wrong. I'm just speculating. And my hunch is you look at what's going on with COVID, with reopening the parks, all that stuff, spring break next year.
Spring break.
If we're lucky. My
other guess, and this is again entirely spitballing, I know nothing. I would love to see something like Jedi Training Academy.
Well, isn't that supposed to be what the Doctor?
They're supposed. From what I have heard, I thought there was a Doctor Strange show that was something similar.
I think that's going to be something like that.
I would love to see this, though.
I think we've reported on that.
Yeah. But also, you never know how things change and evolve.
That is true.
What they have the capacity for. But yeah, because it was something like the Jedis would fight the baddies that came out of the evil temple, and then also the young.
My coronavirus guess on this is that this will be. Remember, we saw pictures of people on the roofs.
Yeah, such an odd.
I think this show will be on top of the roof, probably around the Quinjet, maybe on some of the other buildings, and that's a way that you can keep socially distanced, create a new show, and there's no risk, which is maybe why you're not hearing much about the Doctor Strange thing. But it'd be a completely socially distant, safe thing for wherever they are with park phase reopening. And the downside is I think it could draw too many people if that's still an issue. So that'll be interesting to see how that plays out. All right. Well, those are exciting things. I think we're both very excited for the future of Avengers Campus. We look forward to seeing what Disney does with this, because it's a completely different approach to magic than we've seen before. Probably a little bit closer to Star Wars, but not exactly. But bring back the Dalek. That was fun. I think any Doctor Who fan, even a remotely small one, when they saw that, went there. But we're going to move on to something else now, because time demands this, Katie. I'm so sorry.
No, time.
Time is the fire with which we burn. But name that quote in the comments. I don't think Katie knows what it is because she hasn't seen the movie. But we're going to bring back a segment that has been gone for quite some time. But tonight we have a very special guest that is bringing back headlines from the future. Yes, headlines from the future is back. We have a graphic. We have an opening sting. We are so high tech, and it worked. That is a first for Geeks Corner. We planned something out and it worked. Like we should just take a moment to recognize that. Bailey, this should go in the record books. But Egon, our resident news anchor that's giving daily Disney facts, I guess you could say, with Disney This Day, has gone to the future, and he has brought back news from different time periods in the future, because apparently he can't follow directions. But he is going to share what's going to happen, and we'll comment on it. How's that sound, Katie?
It sounds great.
All right, let's go to the future then.
After Disneyland guests fell in love with the Quinjet that arrived in 2020 at Avengers Campus, it was announced today at 2023 D23 Expo that a full-size Star Destroyer will be coming to Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. At this point, it's unknown if this will be part of a new attraction or if it'll just be another prop.
So, Katie, New attraction or prop?
Well, I do know that that's no moon. I do think though that there's just not enough space in Star Wars Galaxy's Edge. I think it's a prop.
Although it could be a very nice way to get out of the sun.
True, and I mean it could go above the land.
That's kind of what I'm thinking. I'm thinking like Rogue One when it's over the city. What is it, Jeddah, and it covers the entire area. Like that could be it. All right, Egon, let's hope you're right. That'd be super cool. I would like to see it as an attraction that you have to break your way out of, and that would be fun too. Ooh. Different version of Rise of the Resistance or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I think a staircase up would be awesome.
And with blasters.
Ooh, always blasters.
Lots of blasters. All right. What else you got for us, Egon?
After a 10-year hiatus, Star Wars fans will again be able to see Star Wars on the big screen. That's right, Lucasfilm has announced a new trilogy that will be arriving in theaters in just 5 years. According to the announcement, this new trilogy will explore the childhood of Sheev Palpatine. All that is known at this point is that it is connected to how he was kicked off of Naboo's Dejarik team. Bummer.
Bummer. So another prequel, huh?
Yeah, and I think that this is what the fans been asking for, like specifically. We've got a lot of backstory about the characters we know and love, and we've got a lot of just story about Sheev. I want to know the backstory.
Apparently he was kicked off the chess team.
That's, and it makes sense 100%, but yeah, makes it. I feel like.
Would you watch this trilogy? Seriously?
Yes.
I will admit, as I was listening to him talk, I thought of Patton Oswalt, where he's talking about if he could go back to 1998 and talk to George Lucas, he would hit him in the head with a shovel. And then he goes through the explanation of like Darth Vader. You want to see what he's like as a little kid, and Patton's like, no, I don't want to see this. And it's a pretty funny sketch. Check it out if you haven't. We've talked about it before. I think Johnny and I talked about it actually originally in like season 1 or 2. Because he's the one who told me about it. All right, we got one more from Egon. What do you got, buddy?
20 years ago, fans congregated at Disney California Adventure to watch the Mad Tea Party Band. While the nights may have seemed colorful and magical, that wasn't all that was going on. A new documentary by Defunctland explores the drama that was going on behind the scenes as Alice and the Mad Hatter both battled to be the ultimate lead singer for the Mad Tea Party Band. What may have seemed like a sweet friendship to those who were watching was actually quite sour. Expect to hear the real story of how this house of cards fell apart with interviews from the Cheshire Cat, the Dormouse, March Hare, Caterpillar, White Rabbit, Tweedles, and of course Alice and the Mad Hatter. Also, you're going to hear about the remount in the works as Disney goes down this rabbit hole once again.
So the part I love about this the most is, what was this, 20 years ago? Is that what I heard?
Yes.
A remount of the Mad Tea Party 20 years later.
Are you surprised?
No, but it'd be hilarious.
I 100% would not be surprised. I also agree with what Bailey said, and I think that Egon has been reading a little bit too much Twitter.
You never know.
Honestly, though, and this is something that Bailey and I have talked about, this is a documentary that I would absolutely watch.
Oh, I totally would too. And it must have happened because Egon goes to the future and finds these things. However, he does that. We don't ask about his journalistic practices, but we also don't let him write for dapsmagic.com. I would be very interested in this, to be completely. Yeah, I think this is a great idea, and I look forward to it.
Yes.
It's very far off though. Was it 2016 the last time they ended the show?
Yeah, 2015 or 2016.
So that means it's 2036.
Yeah.
Okay. We'll see what happens. It'll be great. All right. Well, that was our most recent edition of Headlines from the Future. To save time, I'm not going to put the graphic back up. But we hope you've enjoyed it. Let us know in the comments if you'd like more, and we will ask Egon if he will come back. If not, we'll tell him the same thing. He'll be fine. that's okay. But as we were saying, Defunct Land did put out a new documentary this last week. It was this week, yeah. And talk about it real quick, Katie.
Really good. It's about a band that played at the Tomorrowland stage for one summer in 1981. Something that very short summer. Something that if you talk to most people, even hardcore Disney fans about, they would say, "Who is Halix?" So maybe yeah, it's a really not anymore. But it's a really fun exploration into what actually happened that summer and why it did not come back. It's really good.
And it was never meant to come back, and that's the great part about it. Yeah. And but you look at what it did that summer, and then you see so many things that have happened since then that were kind of related in the way they did things, and you have to wonder. In fact, I would have loved to have seen some Disney historians after the fact kind of comment on how this fit into the bigger picture of Disney entertainment afterwards, because they talk about in the show before, but they really didn't go what came after. And I would have been interested to hear about that. But no, fantastic documentary, and it's on YouTube. It's for free. And it's totally one of those things that I think if anybody that's watching us or if ever hung out with us, if this band had been around this summer, this is where we would have been every Sunday night. Like it's wacky enough. It's upbeat enough, it's enough fun that it would be like, oh yeah, we're there, we're good.
I talked about this earlier. That is my favorite line of the documentary. Is if this was still around, I would go every single week because I do this about things that are not nearly as good.
Oh yeah,
it's true.
Well, and it's interesting to think of different things that have come after it, whether it's Mad Tea Party or Electronica, but those kind of more pop culture approaches to entertainment in the Disney theme parks. Even some of the bands that have played, 80s All Stars or lots of bands, I guess you could say, that played at Tomorrowland Terrace instead of the Space Mountain stage or the Space stage, whatever they called it. And I'm really curious to see what that progression is, and that would be a really interesting thing to see. But this is definitely a very good documentary. It's about 90 minutes, and roughly, and it'll keep you going. It's very it's kind of fun because you could totally just pick out some of these people and put in people that maybe you've seen entertaining in the parks in more recent years, and like, oh yeah, basically the same. And it's interesting to there's a kid that, well, he's not a kid anymore, but he's talking about going there as a kid, as a 12-year-old, and seeing the poster and being like, oh, I want to go see what that is. And those kids still go to Disneyland today. It's a whole new crop of them, but it's like every generation has that thing, and it's fun to see something from 1981 that we probably wouldn't have really gotten to see otherwise. And so check it out, and you won't regret it. You'll love it, I think. And get back to us and let us know what you think of it, because we'd love to hear what you think as well.
And also, the next time we see you, you better be putting up a Halix sign. Halix! That's the thing! That's the
thing they were all doing 38 years ago.
39.
39 years ago, yeah.
Math. But yeah,
overrated.
So, yeah, honestly, we don't do it here.
We don't need math. What's that? But one of the things that math is telling us is that we are running out of time for tonight's show. So, Katie, what should they do?
Go to dapsmagic.com. Check out all the Disney and geek news as it happens. Subscribe to our mailing list so you don't miss any of it. And another way not to miss any of it is you follow us on Twitter at daps_magic or at the Geeks Corner. Follow us on Instagram at Geeks Corner. Drop just Geeks Corner. We do a lot of really fun things, but there's also a lot of news over there. So go follow us.
And there's a lot coming up. Also, make sure to subscribe to this YouTube channel. We've still got videos, I believe, going up from Murray's trip to Walt Disney World. We also will be doing a live stream where he's going to answer all sorts of questions about Walt Disney World, what it's like going now, how safe it is, all of that fun stuff. So make sure to stay tuned to dapsmagic.com for that as well. And we will have information going out about that very soon. And shoot us your questions on the socials, and we will make sure that he answers them. But that is all the time we have for you this week. We hope you're having a fantastic one. We hope you're staying safe, wearing your face masks, washing your hands, and we will get through all of this together. But for now, we'll see you around the corner.
Bye.